Well, I'm kind of losing my voice right now. I'm getting kind of sick. I have an outline to stick to because I didn't know how to put what happened into words. I mean, I just asked people not to ask me questions when I came back because I just couldn't process. It's only a thing that God could do. And I'm going to start with getting a couple things clear here. Sorry. I'm getting sick here. I came from Honduras. I don't know if you know where that country's at. It's down in Central America. I've lived here for 9 years. It's going to be 27 years here in August 27th. I've never seen my siblings. They're still back in Honduras. I haven't seen them for 9 years. I'm 15. I'm going to turn 16 here in September 1st. I'm going to start with telling you how, while we were driving into Chicago, we were all physically going into Chicago, but spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, God was taking me back to Honduras, and I didn't know it. You know, before I was going, I was preparing myself, and I had a feeling that God was up to something, but I didn't know what it was. I want to tell you about some similarities and some flashbacks I had while I was there. When I was in Chicago, there were similarities that would somehow cause me to have these flashbacks. Some similarities. One time we were going out handing flyers, and as we were heading back, we were handing out flyers, and I just started noticing the houses were really next to each other, and they came out with gates, and there was this crazy kind of drunk guy yelling at these Puerto Rican family. You could tell they didn't like each other. In Honduras, that really happens a lot in this block that I lived in. And as I'm walking by, I'm thinking, should I talk to this guy? Should I not? And I eventually go up to him and I tell him, have you heard about the carnival that goes on there? And he's like, you got a problem with me? I'm like, no, I'm just inviting you to something. And I just started walking by, and this other one is that every time we would go to the VBSs, I would ride in this van, and when we would, there was always this wall. We would drive by this street, kind of like Hispanic-looking street, and there was this wall that had the logo thing of Mountain Dew on it, and in Honduras where I lived in a corner street, and we lived in, on the other side of the street there was a grocery store, and that grocery store had a logo on it that they either changed it to Pepsi or to Coca-Cola, whatever pop was popular, I think. And I could see myself sitting there. One time I sat in the corner, watched them change the sign. But, I'm getting these flashbacks here, and I'm thinking, is this real? Am I dreaming? Am I, did I have too many Mexican tacos or something? Is my mind playing tricks on me? Or, the whole week I'm getting these flashbacks, and there's something about the whole week that made me feel like I was in Honduras, and it's kind of hard for me to explain, but I could breathe, this air, just this certain aroma that the people, just kind of their personalities brought out this feeling at home thing. You're thinking Honduras is inside Chicago, what are you saying? We were having VBSs throughout the week, and I was at Grand Park, and I want to introduce to you these two boys named Xavier and Keyshawn. Xavier, he's one out of one out of 7 siblings, and these kids, they were all younger than him. They're like right back to back, and his responsibility was to like take care of them. And I have the responsibility, but I have it in a different way. Um, and Keyshawn's really a playful guy. He really just likes to play. He's very active. But somehow they seem to have kind of like the same personalities as my brothers did, which was really interesting. I don't know how God did that. I want to introduce to you my 2 brothers. I have a brother that's 14, and one is 11. Mario is the the 14-year-old, and Dennis is the 11-year-old. When I was in church on Sunday, the Sunday that we were there, I couldn't concentrate on Eugene's sermon because I had this picture in my head. I saw a picture of my 2 brothers sitting right next to each other, and I saw this hand, and I just felt in my heart almost as God was saying, I have my hand over them, that I didn't need to worry. When I left Honduras, there was no goodbyes because I was lied to by my mom. She told me like we were going on a shopping trip, and that got me excited enough to run out to the car. My brother Mario wanted to come along, and she told him to go take a shower. And when he came out, that he would come along with us. But when he came out, we were gone, and we haven't been back. I had a very close relationship with him. When I realized that I'm in the States, I mean, we made this 9-week long trip here, mainly walked most of it, until I get to my grandma's house. Not my grandma's house, my aunt's house. I see the trees and I start noticing the houses are so different, and I start crying because I realize I'm not in Honduras. It's different. Now, after leaving Honduras, throughout the years, there's been these emotions such as shame and regret and guilt being built up because I didn't give them a hug. And I told my sister, she came out running after me. And she's like, come out, I need to give you a hug. And I said, I'd be right back, and I haven't been back. And even though it wasn't my fault and I didn't know, I still have that. It's almost going to be 9 years that we haven't seen them. Now, as we were leaving Chicago, I said goodbye to Xavier and Keyshawn, and I take Keyshawn with me to the grocery store. I want to go buy a pop or something, and I take him with me, and I told him, I'll get you something. It's kind of funny because he grabs this whole bunch of goodies and he puts it on the counter, and I'm like, I only meant one, but okay, I'll get it for you. I got it for him because I just had this connection with him that I had with my brother. And, as we were walking by, we were walking side to side by each other, and he asked me, why do you have to go back to South Dakota? And that question got changed around in my head somehow. It's almost as if my brother was asking me, why do you have to leave? Why can't you stay? And at the end, Keyshawn says this nice, really sweet phrase that kind of comforts me. He's like, hey, Giselle. I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm going to miss you, And I think that's so sweet. Because they fill in, there's people that God has to place in my life to fill in the empty gaps. Otherwise, I'd be crying every second, I think, every couple hours. And I got the opportunity to give these 2 boys a hug. And saying goodbye was like I was saying goodbye to my own brothers and my own family. And after that, there was like the guilt and shame was gone. There was nothing. And I was ready to leave. And I just want to end with this, that I'm still kind of shocked and I'm still processing. It's just, I thought I was going to Chicago, but I still want to go back over there, and I want to stay over there, and just because I just feel at home. God answers my mom's little begging, crying prayer. I don't know if you know, but my mom's not a Christian. None of my family is. But I remember she used to sit in the bathroom when we were back in Honduras. She used to cry for hours, and she used to beg God. She used to plead with God. She used to say, bring us to America, please. And I didn't know what America was at the time. I just heard her say it. God answered her prayer. We're here. So he wants me here for a reason. I don't know what it's for, but he has me here for a reason. But how great is our God?